Hi everybody and welcome to the full-time show featuring myself and Turkish. We've just witnessed Arsenal beating Wolves 2-1 at home, maintain our position at the top of the table. Are you good?
Yeah, man. All good. 3 points. Can't complain. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, rest of the football. We're top of the league regardless.
Yeah, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. A win is a win is a win. And when you're topping the table as well, that's a bonus. Listen, guys, out there, download the app and you can get access to the show. I know Turkey's got some details you want to share on
obviously,
that.
People, we keep telling you to download the app. The app is there, AFTV Plus, but we've also brought this in now to make it easier for people to join in. There's a link in the description. If you just click that link, it'll take you directly through to FANZONE and you can have your say. So it's a lot easier. I still do suggest downloading the app for other things in general, and obviously you can use FANZONE through the app, but there's also a link there in the description. You're watching it now, you just want to come on, have a say. You don't like something I've said, you don't like something Laurie said, you agree with something we said.
Well, you just want to have your say, man.
Click the link.
Listen, the fans, we like to keep it interactive on AFTV. We appreciate the fans. They're a big part of what we do, and we want to hear what you got to say. We've had our say on fan cams and watch-alongs. Now it's down to you guys. What do you guys think? And
I know we got callers waiting because we were a bit delayed. People, apologies for the delay. Production, we have got callers, and we've got Javi up first. Javi, you're live, my brother.
It's audio.
Oh, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah.
He can't hear us.
I hear you guys on YouTube, but you're not coming in on a FANZONE.
Oh, okay.
Production, you hear that?
So no audio. Now I hear you.
Now you hear. Okay, perfect. Beautiful production. Love for that.
Hey guys,
based on how you're dressed, I'm thinking that you're in a lot warmer climate than we are. We are actually freezing over here. I think it's sub temperatures over here, man. I'm pretty sure it's not like that where
man. Well, listen, I'm in sunny Miami, so it doesn't get too cold over here. So.
Yeah.
I'm jealous, man. I can't lie.
Me too, man. Me too. But listen, without any further ado, you saw the game, I'm sure. Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. I ain't gonna preempt anything you got to say. The floor is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a weird one, right? Because we started off, 2 goals in 15 minutes. We were all like super excited, and then things eventually just sort of leveled out. It kind of reminded me of some of my past relationships. Very exciting and thrilling at the beginning, and they get a little bit stagnant and boring, and then towards the end, things are so shaky. You're just praying for the final whistle so it can be over. And that's kind of what we saw today. So I don't know. In some cases, very good to see that we got some of that intensity and fluidity. As soon as that kickoff came about, but then also some of the old ugly signs from the Arsenal of last season where we get a little bit stagnant and complacent after going 2-0 up. So not really sure what to make of it as a whole.
You know what? That's very interesting you should say that, because I had a somewhat similar view. The way we raced into that 2-0 lead, 2-0 up inside 15 minutes, you're looking at that and thinking, yeah, man, it's going to be another Lons type thing, you know what I mean?
Felt like that.
So, but you're right, we kind of plateaued out. And in fact, it could be argued, well, actually, it's a statistical fact that we lost the second half 1-0. So that was slightly disappointing. So even though I'm grateful for the win, I did feel it left... How can I'm with you, bro. It was a weird one, because although we won and I'm happy for the win, I'm happy to be topping the table, I did feel slightly shortchanged.
That's not the first time this season though, right?
Is it shortchanged? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It comes back down to comparing us to last season and not seeing the same level of, I won't call it ruthlessness, because I think there was a lot more we could have done to be ruthless last season in front of goal. But I think it's the magic word that I've been using all season. The fluidity and the chemistry, just, we've seen it in parts. I think against Lons, we saw it over the whole game, or, in the first 45 especially, we saw it, that was the longest period. In games throughout this season, we've saw pockets of fluidity that can kind of win us games, but we then tend to kind of drop back into this more controlling type of aspect. I think Lons comes to mind when we went 1-0 up away, and really from there we should have took the game to them, but instead it seemed like we just wanted to take a step back and control proceedings a bit more. That can leave you with the feeling of shortchanged, but when you're winning games and it's 3 points and you're top of the league, I don't feel shortchanged looking at.
I don't want to come across as a spoiled Arsenal fan or somebody that is expectant or You know what I mean? But I just felt a little bit underwhelmed is the word I'm looking for. Xavi, what do you put that down to? The fact that we started such a great fashion, but then it just kind of plateaued out a little bit.
You usually have an answer for that, but I can't really, make things out in this case because we've actually been slow, starting games this season. I think this was actually the first goal that we scored in the first 15 minutes, and then we actually scored 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'd rather that, that way we can just take the pressure off and, we can bring in some of the, the substitutes and give them minutes. But I think that also, when you're up 2-0 by 15 minutes, you expect to win the game. So I think perhaps I'm wrong in this mentality, but I think the responsibility of the players needs to shift from, okay, yeah, we need to see this game because from this position, we should not be losing against that kind of opposition at home. But now we also have a responsibility to entertain the fans for the next, 70, 80 minutes. I think that part of watching your football team is not just winning games, but it's to be entertained. I mean, that's why some football fans support their clubs, even though they're never going to win any major honors and titles. They at the very minimum want to see some good football. So that's why I do feel shortchanged because, watching a game, you're super excited and thrilling. And then for the rest of it, you're kind of just like trying to, all right, lads, come on, just give me another one or, give me something to be excited about. But again, it's a good problem to have. Like you said, Turkish, top of the league already in the next knockout phase of the Champions League, top first place in that group secured. So perhaps there is nothing to really whinge about. But then again, we saw there in those last few minutes, all it takes is one handball or one, shaky call, and you end up dropping 2 points. Because all it took was a mistake at the back, and all of a sudden, which should have been a very comfortable 4, 5, 6-0 win. And perhaps we can also look at the fact that we didn't really finish our dinner. Laurie, again, Eddie and Ketia, sin bin for you for continuing to defend him. But, that should have been a lot more comfortable.
Let me ask you something, Javi. Has the importance of entertainment somewhat dwindled in the last 20 years in football? And by that, I mean, is it as important anymore in football? I've got a reason for saying that. It's hard to explain why I'm saying it, but in this whole system-based lack of freedom world of football we're in now, it's resulted in a lack of flair, a lack of players that can express themselves in moments on the pitch. And over time, I think the level of quality in players in general has taken a hit in the last 20 years. But does that fall hand in hand with entertainment, or do you still think entertainment is seen as one of the most important things?
I think there's two things to that. I think there's a lot of merit, first and foremost, to what you're saying, that individualism expression on the pitch has very much dwindled in the last couple of years in a more system-based approach. But I think also from that, you see a lot more beauty in what is like possession-based football and like 2 beautiful, combinations and team goals that we saw today. So that's definitely an element. And I think another element to it is also, I guess, expectations as a whole. I can understand, I mean, you've said it multiple times, and you said to yourself, it's like, I don't care if we defend for 90 minutes and we're kicking about limbs, but it brings us league titles, fair enough. But then again, the last time you saw Arsenal football win a league title was 20 years ago. If I had to wait that long to see my club win a trophy, perhaps I wouldn't really care as much. But then I think like there's a certain beauty to this game that extends just beyond major honors. You look at Real Madrid, they won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, but yet everyone still marvels about that, 2009 Barcelona team that, just the tiki-taka, beautiful stuff. There's certain kinds of football and certain things that you see on the eye that just resonate you with a fan, that goes from a simple sport to an almost art in what you're seeing. And I think that's what really allows you to sometimes even forget that you're a fan and just take a step back and say, wow, these are why these guys get paid the big bucks. That was beautiful. And we saw elements of that today within those first, 15 minutes. And I enjoy those kind of goals so much more because I'll be honest with you, Turkish, there are some games when we're absolute fucking crap. And then we score like in the 85th minute. And a part of me doesn't even want to celebrate it because it's like, you guys have been so shit that like I'm frustrated it took this long to get this win. I've been angry and bitter and yelling at the TV for the last 85 minutes. Like, finally you scored great 3 points, but I wanted some excitement. I wanted to see my club play some good football. I wanted to be entertained. So I think those things go hand in hand. But again, if you haven't won a title in a very long time, I can understand why perhaps you wouldn't really wanted that to be one of your priorities. So it's a fine balance, Turkish. But if you're up 2-0 after 15 minutes, put on a show for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I co-sign that. I think I do agree that when you're at that end of the top end of the table, the pressures are somewhat different. So you do tend to, how can I put it, be naturally a little bit inhibited.
Yeah,
I mean, can be, even if you're 2-0 up like today and you don't get that third, then all of a sudden you're starting to think, well, you know what I mean, we better not make a mistake here, because if we do, and you know. I just wanted to ask you, Javi, in terms of the team today, any standout performers that caught your eye?
Declan Rice again, bro. Jesus Christ, this guy's so good. It's insane.
Clean.
I mean, he's just, I know, man, dominates that midfield. We're not even missing Partey. That's what's crazy. I mean, I haven't always been his biggest fan either, but it just shows. I think he really is doing the role of two men in that midfield, man. Not only with the defensive capabilities, but also with their transitioning. Sometimes even the box-to-box capabilities that he provides as well. He alone is just so good, and I think this puts such a tremendous amount of pressure on the board to really reinforce the midfield in January. Because if we can actually bring somebody in there who we can rely on consistently, then we have an 11 that it's not only strong enough to really compete in the league, but to give any team in Europe, you know, a proper battle, so we can actually try to have the ambition of going for that Champions League title. Why not?
Okay,
so I think that just puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the board to make sure that they give him a proper partner.
Okay.
And at this level, they should always be under pressure.
Yeah,
they should always be under pressure.
Yeah. Well said, Javi. Look forward to speaking to you very soon. Hopefully after the Luton game, when hopefully we'll get another win. But listen, bro, take care. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Speak to you soon.
And hopefully a couple of goals as well and some entertainment with that.
hopefully Arsenal are in Miami this summer for pre-season. I don't mind a bit of that. My head's still stuck there.
I'll show you guys a good time. New York Part 2, Miami.
Come on. That rooftop bar, Javi. Listen, I ain't forgotten.
Okay, bro.
Have a good
nice one. Okay.
Who we got in next?
Jake is on the line.
You good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
we can.
Where are you calling in from?
I'm in North Carolina.
Nice.
Across the pond.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
Right, okay. The floor is yours. Arsenal 2-1 against Wolves. Just very quickly, we here in England, we're happy for the win, don't get me wrong. We're not that kind of spoiled, entitled fan. Nevertheless, we do feel that second half wasn't what we were expecting. In fact, we actually lost that second half 1-0. How do you feel about it? What was your overall thoughts on the game today?
Well, first off, I thought that it was good to see Trossard get another chance in that left 8. And my main point about this game is that he definitely took the chance to put on a performance and put in the effort. And it's interesting to see in the last 2 games and I'm giving credit to Kai Havertz for actually contributing to the team and actually putting in a performance that we've expected all season. And then Odegaard has freedom and improves, and we look fluid, and we look like we know what we're doing, passing the ball, breaking lines, and things like that. And I thought it was the same today. Trossard's come in. He's even putting in tackles. He's even winning second balls, doing the defensive work, which I did not expect to see from Trossard. But I thought his contribution allows Odegaard to be more free, allows Rice, who sometimes you think is kind of got in the back of his mind that there's a little bit of a hole in our formation in that left 8, and so he's keeping an eye on it and doesn't allow him freedom either. But when all 3 of them are clicking, we look really fluid like we did in that first half, like we did in the first half against Lens, and we're scoring creative goals. I mean, that second goal was sensational. Was absolutely sensational. You know, shades of things we were doing back in the Wenger days, where it was just pass, one touch, back of the net. Goalkeeper just can't even react. You know, doesn't even know what's hit him. It's happened so fast, and it's good to see that. Turkish, I know you've been looking for that all season, that fluidity, and I know you said it was in flashes, but that first half, yeah, definitely had it going.
Yeah, more of that. I mean, Lens is, I think, the first 45 against Lens as well, I think it was welcoming to see, because there's some teams that you know you're better than, and there's some teams that you know if you go out there and put it on them, you're going to beat them.
I've got a question.
I don't think it's always a controlling type of thing that will win you games. I think obviously, you know, that could win us the title come the end of the season, but we've got so many exciting players that I also want to see them released from their shackles a bit sometimes.
Yeah, you described the first half there, and I do agree. I'm not so sure if I agree with you about Trossard. I didn't think it was his best game today. But anyway, listen, that's by the by. Second half, though, we were seemingly unable to replicate the first half. Would you agree? And if so, why do you think that was?
In a word, complacency. It was shades of last season, and it's man, I was talking about it in my match reaction on my channel. It's so gross to see that complacency where we were so dominant for so long that it kind of got in the back of our heads that we could do anything. You saw the little flicks. They're trying the little back heels. They're getting super comfortable. And, you know, I thought that little mistakes creep in. And, you know, people have been jumping on Zinchenko for some of the mistakes, and I get it. You know, that just little kind of switch kind of turned off. It was like a knob that kind of just slowly turned the volume down. And, you know, again, it kind of looks similar to the second half against Lens, where we wanted just a professional, see it out, kind of keep it real calm performance. But when the level of the opposition improves, and let's be fair, Wolves, although they've had a lot of poor decisions against them this season, have actually been very decent. I personally like Gary O'Neill and what he's done there. And so when a team like Wolves, who have scored late goals, get a little encouragement from our complacency, you see what happened today. They get a goal, and it was nervy.
No, I do agree. Zinchenko is the man that's been earmarked. What I would say about Zinchenko is that going forward today, he looked very, very good, especially in the first half. Although I have to say, defensively, there was a number of occasions today when he either got caught out, lost the ball, or both. And
I don't think it's fair that I see a lot of people mentioning Trent as the barometer of comparison when Trent is generational. What Trent does for the attack is something that, you know, you do not see often.
Next level, right?
Whereas Zinchenko definitely helps our attack, and he definitely improves us going into the midfield, but it doesn't make up for the defensive lapses of concentration like it does for a Trent. Because like I said, Trent's got generational attacking qualities from that position. And again, it's easy to say move Zinchenko to midfield, like it's easy to say move Trent to midfield, but I think Culture Cam said it on DR Sports. I mean, Trent's one of the best fullbacks in the world. If he moves into the midfield, he's not one of the best midfielders in the world. Same as Zinchenko. I know he plays in midfield for Ukraine, but I think that the qualities that he brings to the midfield comes because he is the overload. He is the man that creeps in, avoiding someone picking him up, because he is the extra body. And if you play him in that position, I think he gets nullified a lot more than you might see him floating in from the fullback position. So I don't think that's the answer. I think it's something he needs to look at. I think Zinchenko's got a bit of identity crisis as well, because one moment you're talking to Gabriel and Odegaard and acting like the leader, the next moment you're giving the ball away and costing us a goal. Forget the leadership stuff, my brother. Forget the leadership stuff, yeah? It reminds me of early Xhaka. It reminds me of early Xhaka, where, listen, last season Xhaka could do all the leadership things he wants because he was performing on the pitch. But remember early Xhaka, where he'd do the whole, like, you know, huddle thing, arm around the shoulder, then he'd get a red card. I mean, like, there's, you know, forget the leadership thing, focus on,
Infuriating that was.
100%. So Zinni needs to just focus, I think.
He did a similar thing a few weeks before that, remember, when he was trying to rouse the crowd and all that.
Yeah.
But listen, bro,
sorry, I'll let you. That we need to remember is that we tried to get an improvement. Remember, we did. And then he takes an injury and he goes down. So when that comes, I'm really interested to see when all four of our fullbacks are fit, what the first 11 is.
We all thought Zinni and Ben White, and it could very well be Timber and Tommy.
Yeah,
sure could.
You know, which is a good place to be in.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
But listen, bro, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully you'll call us back very soon. Hopefully after we beat.
I will. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, take care.
Take care, man. Love for calling in. Who we got next production? Michael in next.
This could be poetic.
Something like that.
Hey, guys.
What are you saying, Mike?
My favorite moment of the match was in the first half when Zinchenko lost the ball on the left and Martinelli tracked back and won the ball back. Remember that? And, you know, it's the inverse of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Zinni feeding Martinelli going forward. But to see Martinelli bring that kind of ferocity that he brings to the attack on defense, backing up his teammate who just made a mistake. That felt really good to see from Martinelli. I think Arteta's biggest headache right now is figuring out what to do with Zinchenko. I mean, Laurie, I totally agree with you that he contributes so much going forward, and that second goal is all down to Zinchenko picking out Odegaard, brilliantly. But it's like we've got an attacking midfielder who's placed at left back, and you could see that Wolves were targeting him. And that's not going to stop when we play like other teams like Villa and Liverpool. All of the attack is going to be like stressing Zinchenko playing on the left side. And I feel like if Arteta is going to keep him in there, I would rather go to like a back three with Zinchenko and Tommy playing as wing backs, where we've got like White, Saliba, and Gabriel like shoring things up in the middle, so that Zinchenko can invert all he wants and race up the field, but we still have a solid 4 actual defenders to take care of business if we lose possession. I mean, I think that's Arteta's biggest problem right now.
That's an interesting point, actually, because with the goal that we conceded, which, he got the ball, took off him like a kid getting candy taken off him. But there was a few moments before that, myself and Turkish had highlighted it, where we were counting, was it 4 or 5 times, maybe even more?
There were 2 in one movement, one movement.
Where he'd been a little bit lapse. And I was saying, was it a concentration problem? I think I remember joking at half time they probably needed to give him an espresso just to wake him up a little bit. But listen, man, he defensively he wasn't great today. It has to be said. We have to be honest and say that.
Yeah, and it's just Arteta just has to figure out how to keep him on the pitch and still have a solid defense, and that's the contradiction that Zinchenko presents. Yeah. So I do think that there's a balance between joy and suffering here. That, like, one of my favorite things to hear on the English Premier League broadcast is when someone like Peter Drury will say that, like, a player is finding joy down the right-hand channel, which is a perfect idiom to use for someone like Saka, whose name in Yoruba means God has added to my joy, right? And what I love about Saka is there's this boyish exuberance that's not that I will manufacture the joy, but that I will discover it. And that's why he always picks up like loose balls and like unpredictable deflections that give him the in, like the way he scored that first goal. But I think that as unhappy as we are about the second half, we should give Arteta credit that he has actually trained the team to learn how to suffer. Like when things dry up and we're not getting that kind of fluidity in front of goal, that at least we're not giving up a couple of stupid goals. We're only giving up one. Like when we talk about people like Declan Rice adding steel to the midfield, we're talking about how we play when things are not fluid, and like how we shut down like the attack when we're doing nothing but suffering. And that's what I saw, especially in the last 10 minutes of that game. And I think in a lot of ways, Arteta has to convince the team not to succumb to the vertigo of realizing that we're playing absolutely brilliant football in the first 15 minutes, that like the feeling that that's not something that we can sustain over the long term. And it's sort of like feeling like, like we don't deserve to be this good, when in fact we do deserve to be that good. Strike me. Yeah.
Good points made. I just want to ask you a quick question before I hand over to Turkish.
Yeah.
Based on what you've seen this season, and obviously you include today in it too, do you think we're looking at a team that is capable of going on and winning the title? Do you think that what you've seen so far, this team can go on and lift the Premiership title next May?
Like everybody says, I think we need to add a striker. But we need someone that's going to like finish off those chances that Eddie and Jesus did not finish today. But if we get that in January, I think we could do it. Yeah.
Okay, Turkish, you got any questions for Mike?
No, I just back him up on that point. It's not only the chances that they didn't finish today, it's in games with this new methodical controlling style where we're not going to have many chances, because there's been many games this season where we haven't had many chances, getting someone in that doesn't need many chances to score a goal. So I'm completely with Mike on that. I do think we have what it takes even now. That's heavily reliant on injuries in key positions and keeping people fit. But I think a striker would be perfect in January to really nail down the hope and confidence. Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you all good, man.
Yeah.
Where's the Shakespeare then?
Look, so strike me, give me a gash, put me to present pain, lest this great sea of joys rushing upon me drown me with their sweetness. Still top of the league. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, Mike.
Like it.
As expected, Shakespeare. What I didn't expect was a Yoruba definition from Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one thing I didn't expect.
Our Nigerian fan base will be impressed for
Trust
sure.
me.
But listen, bro, thank you very much, and we'll speak
See
again
you later,
soon.
guys.
Love Mike. I'm going to leave you now. Frank's waiting to come straight in as well. So people, hit the like button if you haven't already. Frank's going to join Laurie for the next half of the show, and I'll be back on Forever Arsenal, out nice and early Monday morning. Make sure you subscribe, put a notification bell on, and we'll move people. Love for the love. Laurie?
Okay, as Turkish makes his exit, we got Frank, who's gonna take up the whip, and it'll be a seamless transition, no doubt. We've got Dini on the line. Looking forward to this one, as usual. There he is. Those dreads looking immaculate as always, man.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you. I appreciate it. Big up Frank as well. Big up that Frank.
How's it going, bro?
Blessed. No, good. Happy. In general, overall happy. You know, like with Zinchenko, the only part of the game I actually didn't see was the last 2 minutes of the first half when that madness happened, or whatever happened. I wasn't sure what happened with it, but it was Zinchenko. And in the first half, he had a couple of moments where he gave away the ball and for the goal. It's just very simple. Clear your lines. That's the only real negative I'm going to talk about today. It's just, clear.
Because he was basically sleepwalking on the job and allowed the guy to take the ball off his foot. It was kind of weird to see that, man. It's like clear lack of concentration.
You just got to lock it up, simple, clear out the ball. Because I thought, in general, up until that point, we was pretty much in control of the game. Up until Wolves had their goal, they only had one shot. No, they had one shot in the second half, and they had only one shot in the second half up until that goal. And we pretty much controlled the first half.
Yeah, the first half was beyond question. We could have been 4-0 up in the first half.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's only slightly annoying that we weren't that ruthless today, because it would have been a nice continuation from the Lons game. And today, comparing how we had 8 shots on Wednesday against Lons and scored 6 goals, but we had
it was 19 shots in total today.
19.
And how many shots did we have on target?
6.
But we only scored 2.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we want to be able to continue that consistency of being clinical in front of goal. And and that will add the fear going forward when teams come and face Arsenal. But regardless, we still had another win, and I'm very happy with it, because it was nice to see the first 2 goals that we did have with the fluidity. It was very slick. That first goal, I think it was Saka and Jesus interchanging. You know what? They are finding a way. Saka and Martinelli did it a couple of times on each of their wings today. They're trying, when both defenders are coming over to them, it's like they're dragging out one and creating that space in the middle just to get through a little bit. Yeah. And that was good to see as well. And then the second goal, I think it was, someone said it was either Michael or the other one before him that said it. It was just a slick goal. Yeah. Bing, bang, bosh between Odegaard, Jesus, Zinchenko, and boom, back into the net. It was just nice and slick. And you think from that moment we're going to score 4 or 5. Jesus,
that's what we thought, yeah.
Yeah.
I think because they promised so much in that first half. That is why I couldn't help but feel a little bit disappointed that we didn't go on and really put it on Wolves, and especially in that second half there.
It is really annoying, and it's something that we see a lot. Didi, I want to know what your thoughts on this are, because obviously we had the game on Wednesday, for example, where 5-0 up at half-time. We come out in that second half, you can immediately see it's not the same level of performance. Do you feel that we take our foot off the pedal a lot more than we should? And do you feel like that should be the case, or do you feel like we should always push on for more?
I think it's interesting because I think it was, what season was it? Was it the night? I think it was the 2021 season when I think it was the first season Ramsdale came in, and it was a similar thing. We would start games kind of really well, but in the second half we would just tail off a lot. But at that point we weren't really as controlling as we were now. I feel like as this season's gone on, and even last season as well, but especially this season, actually, we've gotten better at controlling games. And up until the goal, we was definitely controlling the games. So at that point, for me personally, I wasn't necessarily worried because it was controlling the game, and I thought we was going to leave it with a clean sheet. It's just when you have those lapses in concentration where you don't clear your lines, it can look like that we're not pushing on. But at the same time, we've literally played 3 games in a week, and then we go away to Luton on Tuesday. And plus, with the added time in today's game, with the 6 minutes at the end of the second half and the 7 minutes at the end of the second half and the 6 minute end of whichever one it was.
I think it was 6 at the first half, 7 in the second.
Yeah. In total, some players almost played like 100 minutes today of football added on with the 2 games played. So understandably, it would have been great if they had pushed on, but they need to manage minutes. And even Tomiyasu come off injured today. Even hopefully it's not a long-term injury, but it's cold, right? It's even colder right now. So muscle injuries, they could be a thing. Yeah, they could be a thing amongst many teams across the Premier League. So it's about managing that at the same time as well. So it's a lot to think about. But even at the same time, you can't excuse not clearing your lines. That alone is just simple. Yeah, and it just puts the team in trouble.
And obviously, you mentioned about nearly over the 100 minutes today. A majority of players would have played because of the extra time. With that being said, on Tuesday, do you expect there to be a lot of rotation?
Well, who will come in? Jorginho could potentially come in. Reece Nelson could potentially come in. I was actually saying a couple of weeks ago that's a game he could probably play against Luton away. It's a good team to win. No disrespect to Luton, but we have a squad still deep enough at least. You can bring Havertz in. You can bring who else you can bring in defense. You can bring in Kivior as well. I feel like we can rotate a bit. Because we go away to Villa on the Saturday. We go away to Villa on the Saturday, and we're going to want all our players for that. It's the next game after that, the PSV away game, that we can actually rest all our players because we secure top spot now. But it's the Luton, we can rotate a bit, but that Villa away next week, Saturday, is the one where we have to go strong again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Fair enough.
Yep, that's good. I just want to say in closing, and I've asked this question to a few people because I'm really keen to try and get a view on what people are watching. Are you looking at what you believe to be a genuine title-winning team?
Do you know what it is? I like to look back on where we were last season and at this point last season, because you want to build on it and continue. And right now we are doing that. We may not be as far ahead in the league as we was at this point last season, but at this point right now, we are still top of the league, 4 points clear until tomorrow, when Man City play Tottenham. So we'll see what happens. We'll absolutely see what happens. But right now, we are still getting the numbers, even though we're not playing our best fluid football, but we are playing a more controlled football that is more manageable, and we'll see what happens come May. We'll see what happens come May. But right now, it looks sustainable for a sustained push right now with a depleted squad that is not even full strength right now. And when they come back, I think who said it? I think Turkish said it before we left. Like right now, I would love to see a back four. I can't wait to see a back four of Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Tomiyasu. I can't wait to see that. And then you got in your party to bring back in that as well. You know what I mean? Like we have. It's exciting, but right now it's only game week 14, 15, so we'll take our time slowly in this one and we'll go to Luton away. But right now, no, times are exciting, and we can only thank Arteta. We can only really thank the board for believing in Arteta and keeping in here and this, that, and the other. We're just thankful for our fans to keep supporting the team, keep believing in the team. We just go from here and we just ride it out to the rest of the season. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we can win this title this season, but we just need to keep it moving, need to keep it humble.
Okay. Well said, Dini. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you very soon. Take care.
Every time.
Elliot, How's it going? Hey.
There he is.
How's it going, Elliot? I
can see from T-Dot.
I can see half a smile. There it is. There's the smile.
T-Dot in the building.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Laurie, the Frank, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Even
Very cold over here.
Points.
Being in Canada, you know
cold.
a little bit about that, don't you? Cold weather.
Hey, listen, I would have my shirts off with a bit of a dance out there. I'll tell you that. Jesus. Everybody's
tell you
like,
what,
so every AFTV video, I'm cold. I'm like here saying, really? Really?
Yeah, it's not on that Canada level, but trust me.
It ain't that Canada level, man.
It's cold over here,
saying,
bro.
you know. You need that second skin, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I do.
Anyways, I'm gonna be out there the 11th to the 19th. So hopefully I'll be there for the
make sure
Brighton match. So.
Yeah, drop by and see us, bro. But let's get down to business.
Of course.
Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. What was your thoughts?
It was a game of likes and dislikes. I like the fact that we dominated most of the possession and chances and pretty much, manhandled the game. We basically constricted the match to no end. But dislikes, I mean, the chances we missed today. I mean, it could have been a real just throttling of Wolves today. I mean, we could have tamed those Wolves to no end.
Could have, should have.
You know what I mean? It could have been a 4-0, a 5-0 today, but we were missing chances left and right, and some of our.
I think that was the difference, really, wasn't it? That was the difference.
Yeah, I think it was. You know what I mean? I think we.
Finishing on Wednesday was clinical, whereas today finishing wasn't that great.
I agree. I totally agree. It wasn't that great today, but Wednesday we were just superlative. Oh my God, what a performance from Wednesday! I'm sorry I didn't call in, but that was just chef's kiss, guys.
Sublime.
Chef's kiss. But and the thing about it is the other dislike is the fact that we switched off at the end of the game. Zinny. Let me talk to Zinny for a second. Zinny, I love you. You know I do. There's no doubt about that. There's no going around that. But sometimes you just, as you were saying about Ramsdale, you switch off. You just say to yourself, I can just, take it easy on this play. Oh, I don't need to look over my shoulder. Oh, I don't need to do the necessary things to see out a result and to get a clean sheet. He just switches off and then he just throws his hands in the air and say, oh, it's my mistake, but we'll get him next time, guys. And this is the thing. It's like it happened at Anfield away last year. It's happening again and again. And it's just, I love the man, and his technicality is so superb, but it's just that switching off. We didn't need the last 15 to 20 minutes of the time. We didn't need it.
No, yeah.
We didn't need
You're
it.
Right. And you've also got to say as well, is that it is disappointing when you consider that he is one of the most experienced players in the team, one of the leadership group,
multiple
as
time
he's always keen to demonstrate his leadership stuff. But so that kind of, it was a little bit, I don't know. I used the term that
Lauren, call it what it is. It was a lackluster performance.
I'm grateful for the win.
Yeah.
But I also feel somewhat shortchanged because I'm thinking that should have been at the very least a 3-4, 5-1 game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It was 2-1 and you find yourselves holding on with a couple of minutes ago. You think, this doesn't feel right.
Should have been a 3-4-5-0, not 3-4-5-1.
Even if you give them the goal.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just the circumstances in which they scored it. It shouldn't have happened.
But we got a couple of warning signs like that earlier on, though.
Yeah.
That's, we got a couple of warning signs like that early. So we should really have not been in that situation where you could see by the end of that game, and I kid you not, Mikel Arteta, when that final whistle blew, he sort of puffed his cheeks in and exhaled. He was relieved, as well he might do, you know what I mean? Because if they go up the other end there and get a goal. It's
literally, you don't have to be throwing on the Kiviors and the Jorginhos and just going to a back five. Guys,
that's right,
seriously,
man.
This game should have been over much earlier.
I actually remember saying to the guys when we were doing the watch on, I said, if Jorginho comes on as a sub in this game, it's actually a bad sign. And then lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. So you're right.
Exactly. It's needless. It's needless. But again, it's like the lady you take out one night and it wasn't so great, but you take it. You take the 3 points. You move on.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
It'll do.
As they say on the social media sites, a win is a win. A win is a win. A win is a win.
100%. Win is a win.
I completely agree. Yeah. Elliot, I want to know if you. I want to know if you agree with me on this. I said it in my fan cam as well. Like, I don't care how we do it, right? But all that matters is the 3 points. Does that apply to you? Or do you want to see that entertaining football?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you'll always love to see this Jogo Bonito. But at the end of the day, it's about getting over the line, getting the result, especially at this time of year where fixtures are coming thick and fast. You got City on your backside. You know who they are. Liverpool is are going back to their best. So at the end of the day, it's just getting the job done. It's just that you hope it could have been done at a much easier and more laconic pace. But it was just today was just a bother, and it was needless. You toe tap, you bite fingers, you sit there and you think, oh my God, if they get that other goal, and Cunha took his goal well today. It really did. But it was needless, guys. It was really, really, really was. And you know what? But again, it was on two ends because Zinchenko made his mistake, and then we didn't finish our dinner. We had a few. Listen, it was a buffet around us. We just decided, I'll just have this little bit over here, and I'll just go back to my seat and be satisfied. When you're bloody starving.
Well, Eddie Nketiah, who everyone who watches the channel regularly will know I'm a keen advocate for. In fact, sometimes I feel it remiss of me to defend the guy because a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about him, but when he missed that chance as he did today, you can understand why some people are reticent when it comes to Eddie, because he should really have done better. I mean, okay, you could say he was a little unfortunate because he hit the post, which is as close as it's going to get. However, that being said, if we're being honest, he was through 101. He had a little bit of time there to pick his spot. That should have been a goal, and it wasn't. So.
You're right. Laurie, let me say this, and I told Robbie when I was there in August about him. He's part leading scorer on this side. Thank goodness for Sheffield United. Lord Jesus. Anyway, but
goes out for fun.
Listen, I tell you what, it was a giveaway day then. It was like Black Friday then. Jesus, here, Nketiah, take three for yourself. And enjoy, right? It was a shopping spree for Eddie. But today was a case where you wanted him to take that chance. And as I always say, listen, I used to coach football myself, and I was always say, when you're in on goal alone, drop your shoulder and round the keeper, because the keeper had already committed himself. You didn't have to take a shot on straight away. The keeper was behind. The guy's two paces behind. All you got to do is drop that shoulder and round him because he's already committed. And then
if you do shoot, you got to hit the target, man. Make the keeper make a save.
If you do, you hit the target, and if they foul you, it's a penalty. It's a win-win.
Yeah. The fact
sort
that
of like that Black Friday, right?
Yeah. No, but he will be disappointed because he will know that he's going to get limited game time. So when he does come on and he's given an opportunity like that, you got to take it, because that could be the difference between you coming on or getting a start against Luton next game or not. But hey,
listen. There's only a certain amount of time for Eddie to make a statement for himself, because we all know what's coming this summer.
Well, it could come in January. It could come in January. But more than likely, it's this summer. So he's got about 6 to 7 months to impress us. Well, actually, 5 months, really. 5 months to impress us, or else, listen, it's go time. No, you're
Somebody's got to go.
Right.
And more than likely, it's Eddie. And if it's Eddie, we got to hold our hands up. We didn't say we didn't give him a chance. Listen, that's Arteta's stepchild. You know what I mean?
I can understand why.
I've seen the papers. I've seen the work. I've seen the papers.
I can understand why they've kept faith with Eddie, because let's face it, he's come through the academy, so he's not cost them anything extra. And strikers are big money, as we all know. I mean, there's no secret that the club are looked at the Ivan Toney situation, and we're also being told that it could cost them up to 100 million. So if you've got a striker, on your books,
I think it's a great bargaining chip, especially you mentioned the Ivan Toney there, a little cash plus Eddie. I'm sure Brentford, obviously, they're going to be looking for a striker if they get rid of Ivan Toney anyways. So to me, something like that makes perfect sense.
But he's down the pecking order at the moment, Eddie. He's behind Jesus, he's behind the likes of Trossard, people like that. So he's got to step up
This is
if he
it.
wants to stay at the club.
It's end game. We're looking for an M-boss striker. We're looking for an M-boss striker. I am fully with the Osherman rumors. If we have to wait till summer to put in our best bid for one of the top strikers in the world, that piece right there will equal us as Man City. That will take us there.
Is that the final piece of the puzzle for you?
That's the final piece of the puzzle. Left 8, yes, I get it, but that's striker. They have Haaland. We need.
No, I would
Haaland.
agree with that. I would agree with that. I think, and I hear people talking about the number 8.
That's my number 1.
But
target.
I think for me, I'll take the striker over number 8. But listen, thank you very much, bro. Thanks for your call. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully speak to you very soon.
Thank you,
Maybe
Elliot.
as soon as Tuesday.
Indeed, the Laurie, the Frank. I'm gonna call you the Laurie now. You deserve that name.
You can call me anything you want, man. That's good. As long as it's well intentioned.
Have a good night.
Take care. See you later. Nice.
The Laurie, you've got it now. You've got it. Brendan, how's it going, Brendan?
Good evening, Jim.
You need to shift a little bit to your right because we can't really see you that much. Can you adjust your camera a little bit to your right? A bit more. A bit more. You need to.
Let's see. One outside.
No, that the other side. The other side. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Right. Okay. Go ahead. What do you want? Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get this done. Hold on.
There we
It shouldn't be that difficult, should it? All right. There we go. Yeah, it's given some problems.
It is.
I can see you guys, but you can't see me.
Can you adjust it so?
There we go. That's much better.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's it. Yeah,
Exactly there.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that, chap. Good victory today, I must say. A bit too nervy at the end.
Yep.
You want to see the control that we didn't have last season at the run-in. Giving up that goal was very, very unfortunate because it's happened many times last season, and I think it cost us. Zinchenko, very creative player. You know, he inverts, it's useful to the team what he does. But
very.
Unfortunately, he appears to have this mistake in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what bothers me is that, okay, this was Wolves today, but if he does it against top opposition, it can cost us dearly. And he seems to keep happening with him. So
for me today, just going by today, yeah, it looked like it was a concentration problem because there was a couple of times, man, where he just got caught in possession or he gave the ball away needlessly. You know, those kind of unforced errors where you think, like, you know what I mean? You had time to do something different and you didn't. And you've either give up possession or been tackled when you shouldn't have been. So, yeah, it was disappointing. I thought going forward, he looked very good.
It was coming because he had one or two
before that.
Yeah, he did.
Before, and he wasn't punished. And then when it happened, you know, you get that sinking feeling. It's like, oh, you know what? Now you can see Wolves perk up. They thought we could get the second goal. But not to dwell on Zinchenko, it is a good performance. The main thing is we secured the 3 points, which is what we wanted.
That's right.
But when you win, you then think of how did we win? Did we see out the game professionally? You know, did we manage the game professionally? Because we all know that, you know, it's very early days, but we're looking at Man City, we're looking at Liverpool.
That's right.
And it's too early to really overcook things. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we know that points are very precious. If we had dropped 2 points today, that would have felt like a loss.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I would say is that the team it's a young team. They've overachieved. You know, a couple of seasons ago, we couldn't come forward. Last season, we ran City till the last couple of games, and the injury to Saliba really hurt us.
Yeah.
And then we just didn't have that maturity to not drop points against lesser opposition. So we are now one season ahead. And can we take it one step further? That's the question. It's not going to be easy. And I think injury has been our biggest opponent this season. Losing Timber first game.
It's very, very true.
He was such a baller. He fit in that team seamlessly. Even before Rice bedded in after 5 games, Timber was seamless, playing multiple positions. And we lost him. So injury, the biggest year, see Tommy Yasu went out today. Hopefully that was precautionary. But you know, I support the players. It's a great team. Arteta has done extremely well. He's not perfect. He's not God. He does make mistakes sometimes, but I think we're very fortunate to have him. And I can see that from the last 3 seasons, I could see constant improvement. And long may it continue.
Yep. You're sounding a very positive note there, and I do agree with much of what you say. You're right. It's not over yet, but we do have reasons to be optimistic. And good call, man. Thank you very much.
No problem at all.
You must call back again. You got there in the end. You got there in the end, which is the main thing.
Barely got there, but
we genuinely appreciate your call, man. Thank you very much.
Take care.
No problem.
Cheers.
Okay.
I like that. Injury's been our fiercest opponent this season.
Listen, injuries, although to be fair, injuries are a factor that's facing a lot of Premier League clubs at the moment. So it's not just us, but it is real. It is definitely a real factor. Right, we've got our next caller, Ahmed, who I'm informed by our technical staff is our last caller of the day. I'm sure it's going to be a good call. Ahmed, take it away. What do you want to talk about today?
No, I just can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think it was a good match. Well, the start was a very good match, but then I think last season we had like these kind of matches, and I think sometimes it's important to win. You know, just to have the points on the board.
Definitely.
But
what would you put it down to? The fact that we made such a good start, but seemingly couldn't capitalise on it. What do you put that down to? Is there anything you want to highlight in that way?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your question. Okay.
What I'm saying is that pretty much all of us agree that we made a blistering start. 2 goals up inside 15 minutes, and it looked like we were going to go in and really put it on them. But for some reason, it didn't quite happen. And in fact, we plateaued out in the second half. We actually lost the second half 1-0. What do you put that down to? Is there any specific reason, or was it just one of those things?
I think, I don't know. You know what? I think, funny enough, I remember like last season we had a lot of games that were like this, where we start very fast, score like 2 or 3 goals, and then after that we get very slow. Like we don't score goals. Like we try to bypass the game. We used to have like a lot of games like that, and I think I really don't know like why it is like that. I think it has something to do with our style of football. Though we did change it this year, but I think that's definitely this game remind me of last season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because you could make a case today that the finishing, Frank, wasn't that great.
Yeah, no.
But even before we missed a couple of those chances, we were saying, weren't we, on the watch along, that the level were not quite the same as in the first half, if you see what I mean.
And this is
started off slow in that second half.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like once we get to a certain point within these games, we start to take our foot off the pedal and thinking.
Yeah,
and I think that's I think it's where subconsciously take our foot off the pedal. Where we think to ourselves, it's done. We've done what we need to do. Sorry, but you said it yourself. That 2-0 is not the place to be doing that. And I feel like they definitely did that in this game, and it nearly, towards the end of the game, cost us. But I just feel like we need to, as a club, just begin to be a lot more ruthless. Like, for example, I keep bringing up Wednesday. I would have loved to have seen that game go to 10-0, for example. Because if we could score 5 goals in one half, we can do it in the second half. So I feel like we just need to get that ruthlessness to our game in order to really start slaughtering teams.
To be fair, City do that.
This is what I'm saying.
Liverpool do that as well.
This is what I'm saying. So if we're going to be beating these kind of teams to the Premier League trophy, we need to start doing that.
That's right. You're right. You're both right. Because I'll tell you what it is as well. Because you will find that if you don't adopt that attitude, exactly what happened today is going to happen. Teams will get a goal from somewhere, 100%, and all of a sudden they start to believe. And we saw a performance like very similar to this right at the start of the season when we played Forest. Again, when we played Fulham, remember that?
I was about to say the Fulham game.
So
still have nightmares about that.
So we still need to. That is an issue that we still need to come to grips with.
Oh, definitely. And I think we have to think. For me, I don't think that we could win the league if we are not like. I don't think that we are in the level of Manchester City yet, or even Liverpool. Because when you look at Liverpool, they have killers. Like they have Mohamed Salah, they have Jota, they have all these players that are very, very dangerous. Yeah. And I look at our attacking, and I know that I think we overrate. Sometimes we overrate the effect of Zinchenko and Jesus that they had last season. Like this thing with a winning mentality, sometimes we do overrate it because when you look at it, Liverpool never had a winning team. Like they started winning. Mohamed Salah never really won something before he came to Liverpool. It's the same with Van Dijk and all of these things. Winning mentality, we could make that. And I think last season, what really made that effect was the injury to Saliba. Not when you look at Jesus, he definitely cost. I believe Zinchenko and Jesus somewhat cost us the league last season because one guy does not really know how to score, and the other guy cannot defend. And I think it's not that I don't like them, but it just I think we have to have a reinforced in those two positions.
Interesting. So, interesting. Because I definitely feel that if we are gonna achieve aspirations of winning titles and Champions Leagues, you do need to have a striker that's like a 20+ striker. And at the moment, as much as I admire and respect Jesus, I really do like him. I really do appreciate his talents. We saw today, didn't we? We saw the best and worst of him. Yeah. Sublime in the build-up to our 2 goals.
And I think it's safe to say, Laurie, as much as it might be painful to you to hear, Eddie's not going to be there.
Well, yeah, I've got to take that one on the chin. I can advocate for him as much as I want, but you saw there in the second half why Eddie has his detractors, because he's through on goal, right? The goal is waiting there. The net's got to be bulging, bro. It's as simple as that. He didn't shank it. He hit the post, so you could argue he was a little bit unlucky, but even so, he got a score from there. But bro, listen, we got to wrap up now. We'll run out of time. But listen, thank you so much for your call.
You very much.
Thank you.
Please call back very soon. We do appreciate everything you got to say today, and we'll hopefully speak to you again very soon. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
And you. Cheers. So there you have it, Frank. We've reached the end of our calls for today.
We have.
I've enjoyed listening to the viewpoints being raised there. I think that last caller did make a fairly controversial comment, but one nonetheless that,
Yeah. I felt like he was a bit harsh on.
He was a bit harsh.
Jesus there, especially because obviously there was that long period of time where he was out injured, 3 or 4 months, wasn't it? Still ended the season with 15 goals. So you can only think that if he doesn't get injured for that time, do we hit that 20-25 goals that we need to be seeing from a striker in order to win that league title? Yeah. And for me, I think that was that 3 or 4 months that we didn't have Jesus, and then that crucial Saliba injury. That's what killed it off for us.
Yeah, I agree. When people use the B word, you bottled it, this and that, I think that's a very simplistic term. There was underlying reasons.
The way I look at it, we weren't supposed to be there, so you can't bottle something that you're not supposed to be.
We didn't have last season a squad capable to win the league, and it showed in the final run. And when we got those injuries, with respect to the likes of Holding and people like that, and even Eddie, you're bringing those guys in, and they're doing their best, don't get me wrong, but they're just simply not at the level.
And I think that's the beauty of the progression that I've seen in terms of the squad this season. I look at the team now, and obviously minus injuries and stuff like that, you put your strongest starting 11 out, I think that's a team capable of winning the Premier League.
Definitely.
And then with one of the biggest criticisms I've had over the last few years is that we haven't had enough strength in depth. And I feel like we're at the point where we're certainly getting to that point where we've got that strength in depth. I look mainly at the fullback positions and the centre-back positions. We've got, when they're fully fit, you look at the likes of Tomiyasu, Ben White, Yuri and Timber, who can play the whole way across that back line. Tomiyasu, that can also do the same thing. Saliba, who is, in my opinion, the best defender in the Premier League.
I would agree with that.
One of the best defenders in the world. Yep. I think he's getting there, but you know, I thought that would be slightly controversial for me to say that. But yeah, look, the squad, the strength in depth is the key to a trophy for me, and I think we're definitely getting there, and I think that's something we can improve on in January, and I'm sure we can push on, potentially get it done this season.
Yep, I do agree with much of that, and that seems like a good way on which to end today. Thank you very much for everybody that's contributed to Full-Time Show today. Thanks for all your calls. Thanks for all the people who been commenting on the shows as well. We really love that, really appreciate that. Keep it locked and loaded on AFTV. We do have a game on Tuesday. We will be doing a preview show for that game on Monday. Myself, Robbie and the guys will be going down to Luton. We'll do our preview outside the ground. Thanks once again to Frank. Thanks once again to all of you guys, our technical staff, everybody concerned in putting together these shows. We really love and appreciate you. We are out, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.